Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channel and the uh, January 31st edition of the All Star Wrestling Review Series 1981. Again, 1981, a big year for this product. Hogan leaves for the AWA late in the year, but he's still a major force here post his match with Andre the Giant and his time with the Giant in general, so that's kind of there. I mean, it's not necessarily the best of situations, but as we move towards, second month in 1981, pretty big deal in moving forward to the best of our ability in that vein, if and when we can. Anyway, so we kind of move forward into that run there. Um, And again, moving into the second month of 1981, kind of have some things going forward there. So anyway, 131.81, um, hosted by Vince McMahon, Pat Patterson, including Sergeant Slaughter versus John Calhoun. Match and Cobra Clutch challenge with Jim Duggan from the 131 Championship Wrestling, including Pat Patterson, conducting ringside interview with the tag team champions Rick Martel, Tony Garea, interrupted by Captain Lou Albano. Albano setting up the eventual Moondogs and um, Martel Garea match series there, which eventually leads to the Moondogs winning the tag team titles. But we'll get there when we get there, of course. But that is the way that it kind of plays out in general. Is eventually the Moondogs do take those tag team championships, much to the chagrin of the fans and Martel and Garea. Anyway, so as we move forward into this particular edition, we have a couple of matches on tap here. Rick McGraw pinning Johnny Rod, 624 reverse of a power slam into a roll up. Odd combination of maneuvers there. Don't know why he didn't finish either with the roll up or the power slam. I guess it's more about kind of getting differentiation of things there. But the Slaughter match highlighted with Calhoun and the continuation of the drill sergeant being aggressive with the Grand Wizard is here again, running about 238, something like that. Hard shots along the way and continuing to go in that direction, as it were. Um, you know, and Slaughter managing to keep things going, and Vince McMahon calling out the interview. Slaughter basically challenging anyone who will listen as it relates to that Cobra Clutch challenge. Cobra Clutch challenge, of course, can a person break the Cobra Clutch? Any person at all. Jim Duggan taking the challenge. Duggan sits down in a chair and gets powered around. Of course, Jim Duggan few years later would not be in that position, I'm sure. Bulkier and certainly moreover as a babyface, returning in '87, 6 years later. But here, Slaughter has mastery of everything. Then we go to the next in the series of matches, which happens to be the um, nature of uh, Rick McGraw and Johnny Ross 624 with that power slam combination. McGraw, kind of a touch and go guy here in 1980-81. On one hand, was pushed pretty heavily in the beginning, doesn't really get all he wants on that. Rods throws him to the outside and kind of dumps him on his head. They brawl on the outside just a little bit. McGraw comes back in and gets tied up in some headlocks, bear hugs, and the like. Rods, of course, a major guy. The takedown and the armbar by McGraw doesn't exactly get him where he wants to be, but manages to do everything he can in that regard. Hard shots by the 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 benefit there, and ultimately we kind of see things going back around in that direction. Hard kicks and such by Rods. Rods not willing to take a backward step. The tag team champions basically saying they're open to all comers And Captain Lou Albano challenges them on behalf, or the champions on behalf of the Moondogs. Obviously, that is a eventual match, and Martel basically says that, in other words, Albano is a blowhard who doesn't have a whole lot of value. Hulk Hogan with Freddie Blassie defeats Manny Sizza and Charlie Brown. Handicap match 321, pinning Brown backbreaker. After the bout, Patterson interviews Hogan and Blassie at ringside. Once again, Hogan calling out his announcing adversary, for lack of a better term, and Hogan continuing to do the pose down, basically saying he's unstoppable. Blassie also is called out for managing too many people, but Blassie says that everyone he manages, in fact, has everything they need to be the best in the world, and tends to deny all of this. The over-the-shoulder backbreaker win by Hogan, maybe showing that he can get a submission win, because submissions seem to be popular over the last month or two, at least partially on the program. Then we kind of go into the next in the series of matches, which in this case happens to belong to a ultimate kind of tag team run there, and of course, tag team champions are here, Guerrero and Martel. They continue to be a major force in the area, having, still not been fully defeated yet. SD Jones is their six-man tag team partner, as Jones, Guerrero, and Martel defeat Jose Estrada, Baron Mikel Sakuna, and the Hangman 944. Jones pins Estrada with a headbutt. Estrada obviously showing that he is the low man on the totem pole for taking the fall. Also, Guerrilla and Martel continue to work well as a team, going almost 10 minutes, probably a little longer than it needed to be. The heels do the majority of cutting the ring off on their adversaries. Guerrilla spends a good bit of time in the ring, working over the arms of various opponents. Estrada, being the one to take the fall, speaks to his rank, but also the Hangman coming back after being gone for some weeks is interesting in and of itself for a number of reasons, just because where did the Hangman go? And secondly, why are you pushing 5 or 6 guys under the same manager in Freddie Blassie without one real clear leader in the process? So anyway, heels come in to try to interfere as often as they can. Doesn't necessarily lead to any sort of resolution, but does lead to continuation of the fighting, and eventually, as mentioned, ST Jones gets the headbutt and the victory along the way here. Then we move to the last in the series of matches, with about 5 minutes, maybe 4.5 left in the program. This happens to be moving towards Killer Khan with Fred Blassie against Steve King. 321 with the jumping knee drop. Almost an identical match to the one that Khan had before. Punch, kick, very basic stuff. Body slam, and eventually the top rope knee drop. Fred Blassie continues to push Khan as a major force, and we will continue to push forward with more content in the next little while. We'll be back with more right after this.